video we'll talk about adding integers using number lines. So let's go down here to our rules. So how we're going to show addition of integers using number lines. So the first thing, we always start at 0. Okay, so if our example question is going to be 3 plus 4, so we're going to add two positives together here. So when we start, we're going to start at 0. We're going to draw arrows for each integer in order, going left to right. Okay, our arrows are going to go to the left for a negative integer, and our arrows will go to the right for a positive integer. As you look down here at the number line, you'll notice as I add something on in the positive, I'm going to go this direction. Okay, if I'm adding negative, I'm going this direction. To go from 0 to -5, I have to go left. Okay, so let's do this first one. The second integer arrow, before we start here, the second integer arrow starts where the first arrow ends, and then the end point of the very last arrow representing the last integer in the question, where that arrow ends, that is the sum or the answer. So following my steps, we're going to add positive 3 plus positive 4. So I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to draw a line to my integer, which is positive 3. Okay, I've drawn the first integer. Check. Now I need to add 4. So starting where this one ends off, up on top of it, I'm going to draw an integer an arrow representing 4 more movements. So this one moves up 4 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, and ends at 7 positive. Now this is the end of my integers to add, so where this last arrow or the top arrow ends, that is my answer, equals 7. Now some of you might like to help this a little more, so not do a straight arrow, but to start at 0, 1, 2, 3. There's my first integer. And then from there, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my second arrow. I'm pointing at my answer, 7. Okay, if the jumping arrow works better for you, then please use that method. Nothing says you have to use a straight line on your little arrows here. They could be the jumping type. Let's try another one. We're going to move down here. We're going to follow the rules, but we're going to go down here. Okay, let's see. Let's do some negatives this time. -7 plus -2. So we're going to do two negatives again. So again, I'm starting at 0. My first line is going to go down to 7, -7. There's my first arrow. Okay, again, starting my next one, I start at the end of the first arrow, and I move 2 more spots. 1, 2. Takes me to a -9. I'm done with my integers. My answer, -9. Now I like to circle it to help remind myself, yes, I'm at the end of the arrows, that's my answer. Again, not a requirement, nothing wrong with a little visual to help yourself so you don't make a mistake on that. Let's say our next one is -6 plus +9. Okay, my first integer from the left is the -6. I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to go to -6, or I'm going to jump to -6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, same thing. Okay, next on top of that, I'm going to add 9 positives. So a positive, I'm going to go back to the right. So from here, I'm going to go 9 spots. So that's 6 spots, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to end there. So the answer is +3. Let's do another one, and this time we're going to do the jumping jack. So this one I'm going to go -9 plus 13. So this one I'm going to go -9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's my first arrow. And I'm going to go back to the right because it's a positive. So starting here, back to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now the arrow's pointing at my answer. My answer is 4 positive. Okay, let's get rid of those so we can see and do a couple more. Now, the thing I do like about the arrows that jump is that typically we are going to not make mistakes with counting. Okay, with straight arrows, sometimes on our second arrow or our second integer, we have some mistakes made. And people will go 1, 2, and they will say that's their 1, 2. when in reality you notice they've only moved from one spot, which was -3, to 2, which was only one spot, where we're supposed to be moving 2 spots to the right. Okay, so on this, the jumping arrows, you have to realize you don't count until you've moved 1, 2. So my answer to this one is -1. So whatever works for you, if you're able to make sure that when you're drawing your second arrow, I'm going to draw one here just to show you. Make sure that you don't start counting until you've moved. So let's say we have a question, or we see something where the arrows are already present, and we want to write down what the addition statement is. Now, an addition statement is 4 plus 3. That's an addition statement right there. -2 plus -29. Okay, addition statement. -2 plus 9. All right, so we want to take what we see on this visual here, those arrows, super straight, crazy, yep, nice, and then write down the statement. So again, the first arrow closest to the number line is the first integer. So this one started at 0, went to -5, so that's -5 plus, now this one is not -3, because remember, we are starting from this point, moving that direction. So again, we have to count this. Now the mistake here would be people would count 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's back that up. We can't count until we've moved. So we're here at the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So -5 plus 8. How do I know what my answer is? Oh, the last arrow on the top is at +3. My answer is +3. Let's look at some more examples. Here's another one down here. So you can see where they've written on there what this one is. So this one would be easy to write down because they have -5 plus -3. So starting at 0, my first integer is going to be -5. This one plus -3 is going to equal, where do they end? They equal right there, -8. Now as you notice, this one is not on top of each other. I've been showing you to do it. Sometimes it depends on what you look at. Okay, so the next one, starting at 0, closest arrow. So this one is -6. Starting there, going this way, plus a +6 equals, what's the end? 0. All right, so that is integer addition using number lines. If you have any questions about it, just back the video up and re-watch that, and then you should be able to complete any homework questions that you do have.